I just realized something while editing one of my portfolios. Every single one of my early design projects looks exactly the same. Different houses, different clients, different budgets, but somehow same boring result. And the worst part, at the time, I thought they looked amazing. I was genuinely proud of these cookie cutter rooms where the only personality was which shade of gray I picked. You know that feeling when you finish a room and it's fine? Everything works, nothing's wrong, but also nothing's right. That's every room I designed for the first 2 years. They were the visual equivalent of small talk. Polite, appropriate, completely forgettable. Hey, I'm Amelia Fenmore, and it took me way too long to figure out why my rooms were boring. Turns out I was making the same 5 mistakes over and over, thinking I was playing it safe when actually I was playing it boring. Here's the thing. I bet most of you watching this right now are making at least 2 of these mistakes. But don't get me wrong, it's not because you have bad taste, but because these mistakes feel like the right thing to do. They're what we think good design looks like. Spoiler alert, we're wrong. So picture this. It's 2019 and I'm at a friend's housewarming party. I walk into her living room and my first thought is, oh no, who did this to her? The room had everything expensive. This gorgeous velvet sofa that probably cost more than my car payment, a marble coffee table, designer throw pillows, real art on the walls that felt like nothing. Like a really expensive nothing. And then she introduces me to everyone as Amelia. She's the one who helped me design this. I wanted to evaporate. Because suddenly I could see it through everyone else's eyes. This room that cost thousands of dollars looked like a furniture showroom. A nice one, but still a showroom. That night I went home and looked at every room I'd ever designed, and they all had the same problem. I was so focused on not making mistakes that I forgot to make choices. I was so worried about things going together that everything just went. So I started studying rooms that actually made me feel something. Not just nice rooms, rooms that made me stop and stare. And I realized they all broke the rules I thought I was supposed to follow. First mistake, and this one hurts because it's expensive. You think one amazing piece of furniture will carry the whole room. If I just get the perfect sofa, everything else will fall into place. Once I have that statement chandelier, the room will come together. This accent chair is an investment piece. It'll make everything look elevated. Sound familiar? Yeah, that was my entire design philosophy. Here's what actually happens. You blow your budget on one piece, and then everything else is filler, and it shows. I had a client who spent $4,000 on a dining table. Gorgeous, live edge, walnut, absolutely stunning. Then she had $200 left for everything else. So she got cheap chairs from IKEA, no rug, basic lighting, nothing on the walls. The table looked like it was being held hostage by the rest of the room. This beautiful piece that was surrounded by stuff that was clearly an afterthought. A great room isn't about one hero piece. It's about how everything works together. The composition matters more than any individual element. Take whatever budget you were going to spend on that one statement piece and divide it by 3. Get 3 good things instead of 1 great thing and 2 afterthoughts. A pretty good sofa, a pretty good rug, and pretty good lighting will beat an amazing sofa with nothing else every single time. It's like cooking. One expensive ingredient doesn't make a meal. The way everything works together does. Second mistake, your room is having an identity crisis because everything's competing for attention. You've got the bold accent wall and the statement mirror and the eye-catching rug and the colorful artwork and the dramatic curtains. It's exhausting. Your eye doesn't know where to land, so it just gives up. I did this in my bedroom. I painted one wall dark blue, hung the gallery walls, added a Tufted headboard, put up dramatic curtains, threw in a vintage chandelier for good measure. My friend walked in and said, "It's very busy," which is code for this is chaos and I'm uncomfortable. Every room needs a hierarchy. 1 star, several supporting actors, and the rest is background. Pick what you want people to notice first. Maybe it is that accent wall. Then everything else needs to come down. Maybe it's the chandelier. Then the wall should be simple. When I fixed my bedroom, I kept the dark blue wall and made everything else neutral. Suddenly the room made sense. Here's a practical tip for you. Take a photo of your room and blur it slightly. If you can't immediately tell what the focal point is supposed to be, neither can anyone else. Third mistake, and this is the biggest difference between amateur and professional rooms, you have no depth. Let me explain. Everything exists on the same plane. It's all surface level, literally. Look around your room. Is everything pushed against the walls? Is your art all hung at the same height? Is every surface empty except for maybe one decorative object in the dead center? That's a flat room. It's 2-dimensional. For example, my first apartment living room, sofa against the wall, TV on the opposite wall, coffee table in the middle, one piece of art centered over the sofa. From above, it looked like a diagram. From inside, it felt like a waiting room. Then I learned about layering. I pulled the sofa 3 feet from the wall, put a console table behind it with lamps and plants added at different heights, added a throw blanket casually draped over one corner, put books on the coffee table with a small object on top. Suddenly the room had foreground, middle ground, and background. It had depth. Basically, you need high things and low things. Things in front and things behind. Overlapping elements. A tall plant next to a low chair. Art leaning against the wall with something small in front of it. A mirror reflecting something across the room. That's what makes a room feel full and finished instead of sparse and bland. Mistake number 4, everything matches too perfectly. Your throw pillows match your curtains match your rug matches your art, everything coordinates like you bought an all-in-one trip. Which you probably did. I used to think this was the goal, to get everything to go together. Make it all coordinated. That's good design, right? Wrong. That's catalog design. It's safe, it's predictable, and it's boring as hell. Real rooms that people actually want to spend time in have some tension, some unexpectedness. I redid my dining room last year. I had inherited this mahogany table, super traditional. My first instinct was to get traditional chairs, traditional rug, traditional everything. Instead, I got modern acrylic chairs. Everyone thought I was insane. Those don't go. But that contrast is what makes the room interesting. Old with the new, the heavy with the light, the unexpected with the expected. The key here is that you need at least one thing in every room that doesn't match, but somehow works. Maybe it's a modern lamp on an antique table. Maybe it's an industrial fixture in a farmhouse kitchen. Maybe it's a bright orange pillow in your neutral living room. That one thing that doesn't quite match is what makes it look intentional instead of defaults and less boring. Last mistake, and this is really 2 extremes of the same problem. Either you plan nothing, you buy things when you see them, hope they work, and end up with a room that feels like it was assembled by 5 different people who never spoke to each other. Or you plan everything to death. You find the perfect room on Pinterest, try to recreate it exactly, and end up with a weird copy that doesn't fit your actual space or life. I've done both. The no planning disaster at my first living room, where I bought things over 6 months. Whenever I found something cute, a mid-century chair, a farmhouse coffee table, a glam mirror, bohemian pillows, nothing related to anything else, and it looked like a furniture store's clearance section. Then I overcorrected, found this gorgeous room online, measured everything, bought exact matches or closest alternatives, and spent 2 months hunting for the perfect pieces. Set it all up, and it looked wrong because that room was in a brownstone with 12-foot ceilings and mine was in a suburban ranch. That room got northern light and mine faced south. You need a plan, but you need to be able to adapt it to reality. Start with a concept. Modern minimalist, cozy traditional, whatever. You know your color palette. Have a general furniture layout, but then be flexible. Maybe that chair you loved doesn't work, but this other one does. Maybe the paint color needs to shift based on your actual lighting. The best rooms have a clear intention, but aren't slaves to a Pinterest board. Once you understand these 5 mistakes, you'll notice them everywhere. That friend's house that never quite feels right, they're relying on one expensive sofa to carry the room. That restaurant that feels chaotic, no clear focal point. Your parents' house that feels dated even with new furniture, everything matches too perfectly. But more importantly, you'll stop making these mistakes for yourself. You'll stop thinking that one perfect purchase will fix everything. You'll stop pushing furniture against walls. You'll stop being afraid of things that don't match. And your rooms will stop being boring. Let's be real here. I still catch myself making these mistakes. Last week, I almost bought a whole bedroom set because it was easier. Then I remembered how every matching bedroom set I've ever seen looks like a hotel room. Not a nice hotel, a medium hotel. So I bought the bed, just the bed. I'll find the rest piece by piece. It'll take longer, but it'll actually look like my room, not page 73 of a catalog. So here's what I want you to do. Walk into your most boring room after this video. You'll find one of these 5 mistakes. You're making at least 1, probably 3. Pick the easiest one to fix. Pull something away from the wall, remove something that's competing for attention, add something that doesn't quite match. One small change See how it feels different. Then fix another one next week and another one. In a month, that boring room won't be boring anymore. It might not be perfect. The perfect was never the goal. Interesting was the goal. And interesting is actually easier than perfect. If you're thinking, okay, but I still don't trust myself with color, watch this next video where I break down the only color formula that actually matters. It's not about matching, it's about proportions that'll make your brain happy. I'll link it right here. Tell me in the comments, which mistake are you making? Because admitting it is the first step to fixing it. Thanks for watching. Now, go make something interesting, or at least stop making it boring. See you next time.